Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the slAy podcast. Now, just to get things started, we just wanted to clear up a few things. We're just doing a really slight rebrand of our whole group. We're going from slAyMA to just slAy podcast. We just thought that it would be a nice and simple name and more easier to recognize. So we hope that it's not too much of a big that you'll still come in and tune into every slAy podcast episode moving forward. And so, with that out of the way, just a little bit of an overview of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Barbie movie, which has been super, super fun, and then also talk about some related questions relating to our favorite shows and media and what we hope to see in the coming weeks. So, I thought it'd be really cool to just start off with a new segment that we actually tried on our last episode called slAy or Nay. So basically, how it works is that we're going to ask each ourselves a set of questions, and based on those answers, the remaining two have to say if it's a slAy answer or a nay answer. So I actually want to start asking Brandon a list of questions and hearing his responses and seeing if he is truly a slAy or a nay.
Oh, come on.
Brandon, are you
I'm a
ready for
slay.
this?
You know I'm a slay. These questions
All
won't.
right, all right, right.
But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, Brandon. First question for you. What's your favorite food?
Easily pancakes. I mean, come on. They're so versatile. You can put up anything on them. Put anything you want on them, and they'll be good. Trust.
All right, this will make me decide if it's like a slay or a nay. What do you like to eat with your pancakes?
Like in the pancakes, or like with like a side.
It could be either or.
Oh, I'm always about the chocolate chip pancakes. I obsess over
Okay,
chocolate, so.
you got a slay from my book. I really like sweet pancakes.
Oh yeah.
I am not a pancake person. I'm a waffle person, so that's a nay.
Oh,
Get him out of here.
damn.
Get him
Okay, I
out
can
of
respect
here.
though. Sometimes it's either a waffle day or a pancake day, but I think I'll have to give the edge to pancakes because, they're very fluffy and delicious. All right,
Exactly.
Brandon, next question. What's your biggest pet peeve?
This one's hard to think about. Like, there's not too many things that just, like, straight up annoy me. So I spent a lot of time, and I guess it's just one of the things that really gets me. And I know it's kind of, like, I don't know how you want to say it, but when people just say, or, like all the time, like when they're excessively saying it just bothers me. It bothers me so much. I just want to
Bra-
shake you and stop you and be like, stop saying or like, or any disruption in your sentence.
Okay, wait, Brandon. So what you're saying is that whenever there was a time for presentation evaluations, you would give the most docked points only because the presenter would say too much likes and ums, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
God
you guys,
damn.
you guys know the Arthur meme where he closes his fist in silence?
Yeah.
That's how I imagine Brandon in like a college or high school presentation, like class, like it's just like.
Actually, I actually kept a
He is-
tally next to everybody's name.
He's this close to just yelling, "Shut up!" Just like how he did in my premiere games. But anyways, I will have. I mean, that's a very unique question. I mean, answer that I didn't expect. So I would give that a slay, only because it's so funny to me. It's a very unique case.
Yeah, I mean, I say too, but I'm trying to stop. I don't say like that much, but yeah, it's really hard to stop in public presentations. I watched this like it was a TED talk where they're saying just replace your likes and uhs, and those awkward pauses with
Hmm.
silence. Like just make it seem like you're thinking. And they give an example of like a lady who gave a speech with the uhs and likes, and then she gave another speech, the same speech, with just complete silence during those awkward pauses and breaks. So it just seemed a lot more professional. Like she was thinking about her next, answer or what she was going to say next. It just seemed a lot better. But I'm not there yet. Working on it.
So what happens
Hmm.
if you're just sitting there and you're just like
In dead silence.
and it's just like 8 seconds of just silence.
I don't know. For me personally, I would rather fill that void with actual words. Like sitting there for like a long pause, I feel like it's even worse
And
than
you know
Okay,
what
but like,
just saying a
everybody's
how
filler
long?
saying.
word.
You know
How
what
long are you
everybody's
saying
saying.
like enough for that your pause is like 5
Yeah,
seconds
yeah,
long? Like, there's no way it's gonna last that long.
I don't know, man. Maybe you really got stumped. I don't know.
You shouldn't be giving your presentation.
True.
Like,
But yeah, I like that. It kind of bothers me too when someone's presenting or giving a speech or whatever, and they say and repeatedly, you know?
mhm.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, whatever, but repeatedly is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
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 I don't think I've ever gone to a like presentation where it was like that excessive, but I'm sure Brandon might have more negative experiences with those sorts of presenters. All right, Brandon, last question for you. Who's your celebrity crush?
And after watching the Barbie movie, Ryan Gosling,
Okay.
you know,
Okay, yeah.
I
I
just
like that slay.
slay.
I just want to be in my Mojo Dojo Casa house, just like he does. But
I know, Ryan Gosling's great.
that movie definitely has me convinced.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, that's like you pretty much got like 100% from me, and from Kevin that was like
Almost.
what?
Almost.
Just
One
one
day.
nay.
That's just
Yeah.
a preference thing, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, moving on to you. First question, what's your favorite food?
Steak, because it's so versatile.
Ooh, okay,
Very
slay. I like
simple, like,
steak.
you know how the people joke, like, "Ah, can guys cook anything but steak?" Obviously, there's like pan-seared steak, which is like basic, right? You get like a 4-pack, 12-ounce ribeye from Costco. You know, affordable, only 50-something dollars. Or you could get like a really expensive, like A5 Wagyu from a restaurant. It's like super bougie, you know? There's just so many ways to cook steak, so many different types of steak, so many cuts of steak of part of the cow's body, and it's just like so many ways to eat steak, and it's beautiful. It's
That
delicious.
is true. You ever watch General Sam on YouTube? He has a video of him turning one of the like A5 Wagyu steaks into a hamburger helper, and then he refrigerates it overnight and
No.
smothers it with ketchup. Said it was pretty good. Said he'd like to meet the man
No.
that grew the cow. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like not too many things you can do that with, right?
True.
I mean, I've never watched that guy, but back in the old days of YouTube, there was this one channel called Epic Mealtime.
Oh,
Just a bunch of white men just like cooking a shit ton of meat and stuff and just
Yeah.
eating it. I just thought that it was like super fun because I would never eat that much meat, but they sure can.
It's
Kevin-
definitely not healthy to eat that much red meat, but
I know, right?
I would if I could.
Kevin was actually
Right?
muscles classes.
All right. Next question.
Oh wait,
So,
we didn't even
oh.
say if there was Slay.
oh, I mean, I said slay.
Oh,
What did you say, Brandon?
I kind of skipped over that part, but that is definitely Slay.
Mhm.
I thought Brandon was gonna say, "Isn't it shrimp pasta, Kevin?"
No.
All right. Next question. What's your biggest pet peeve, Kevin?
The thing that annoys me the most is, okay, this goes both ways. I hate doing this to other people, so when people do this to me, it annoys the shit out of me, and it's wasting time.
Mm.
I think time is your most valuable commodity. You can't get it back if you spend it, you know. So you have to choose and pick carefully what you spend your time on, because you could be spending time making money, hanging out with friends, family, loved ones. It's very precious, right? You only have so much time in your lifetime. So when people waste my time, it's so annoying to me. It's like, what are you doing? You don't respect other people's time, their most valuable thing, right? So
Mhm.
I in my life, the one thing I try not to do is waste people's time. You know,
Mhm.
if I tell you I'm going to do something or be somewhere on time, I'll try to do it to the best of my ability. If I tell like my coworker or boss, I'll try to do something on time, try to make the deadline. You know, like respect other people's time because it's really precious.
Mhm.
That's my pet peeve when people waste my time or waste other people's time for that matter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, phew, I'm glad I came on time, like I said. I said it'd give me 15 minutes. I came in like 10, so slay on me. Well, yeah, that's a slay answer. I respect that for sure. Time is really important, and we're all getting older, so making the most of the time that we have is like really, really important. How about you, Brandon? Was that a slay answer?
You know, my family's motto is if we give you a time, expect it to be 15 minutes later. So, like, it, it's kind of Slay, but also, like,
You're used to like,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm kind of
okay.
used to having my time wasted, you know? It's
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Brandon.
but
Nah, but I think Brandon is you're just like generally more chill about certain things, like more flexible. Like as long as it's not like 2 hours later.
yeah, exactly.
Like that would be
If
unreasonable.
you give a fair warning, that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you were saying you're going to be there on at a certain time, then you know, no warning.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you late?
Yeah,
You know,
never happens
if
in
you have
my
a good
family.
excuse, whatever. You know, like car broke down. You know, I'm not gonna be like, wow, your car broke down. Like, but yeah,
Once you
All
prepare
right.
for people to be late long enough, it's just like, well, you kind of know what's gonna happen, and then you kind
I
of
know,
plan for
right?
it.
yeah. Then they're not really wasting your time anymore because you know the time they're gonna be there at, right? So
True, true.
That's true.
yeah.
All right. Final question, Kevin. Who's your celebrity crush?
Oh boy, Bae Suzy, Korean singer, actress,
Hey, Susie.
BAU.
Oh, from Dream High?
Yes,
Oh,
starred in the drama Dream High with IU.
okay. Love it.
Many Koreans say she's the most attractive actress ever in Korea.
Well, I can definitely see why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember her. Like, she was like really, really popular in like the 2010s. I
hmm
mean, I'm not sure what she's doing now, but like,
She
I
acts
know
it.
back
She
then
acts.
she was like still really. She was like one of the hottest Korean talents back then.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is, Brandon? Would you give that a slay? Did you search her up just to get a look at her?
Let's see, if I type though, my mic just catches all of it.
You can
That's
mute
the.
it.
I guess I could. Yeah. Give me. Well, I'm just gonna say nay, just because there is
What?
one. I can't remember her name. I'll have to look it up later. But I was she was just like the hottest in every movie she's in is really good. So I was just like, okay. I'll have to look up her
Hmm.
name though.
All right. Well, pretty much 100% from us both there. Although I would say Brandon had some hesitant answers a few times, but he still gave us slay in the end. So that's what it's worth. All right. For me, if I just go down the list, my favorite food is shrimp. I've mentioned this a few times in the last episodes, but I just really enjoyed shrimp growing up, and I just like the fact that it's so versatile. You can have it in sushi, you can fry it, you can add it to like pasta or like tacos, and I just like really like the flavor of it so much. It's like my favorite seafood of all time. So choose one thing I'd have to eat for the rest of my life, it's probably shrimp.
What food do you like shrimp in the most, or like shrimp by itself, or what? Joey? Oh no, we lost her.
Oh,
All right, so TLDR, my favorite food is shrimp. Was that slay or a nay?
that is a slay.
Slay, but I asked you before you disconnected what your favorite shrimp food is, or shrimp by itself, or what?
I really like tempura shrimp.
Mm.
Like if I ever go to a sushi restaurant, I always get shrimp tempura rolls. Or
Oh,
if I go get like, udon or go to like a like Asian buffet, I always try to see if they have like tempura shrimp there because I just like the texture and the flavor of the saltiness and the crispiness contrasted with shrimp. So it's like super good.
yeah, I agree. I love shrimp tempura.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. My second question. So, pet peeves. When I thought about it for a bit, one thing that came to mind, especially recently, was just the fact that, when you're walking in a store and you might be trailing behind someone and then they suddenly just stop and then you just catch yourself before you like bump into them, or they're just like, in the aisleway, just moving so slow and like looking at stuff at the items, and then you're just like, can you move please?
Oh
Or
yeah.
like can you go into the aisle or something and not like clog up the walking area? And it just sucks. Like it just happened to me today too, because I was like at IKEA and I was like looking at all the furniture and stuff, and this lady was just like looking at the stuff on the walls, and then she just stops for a minute looking, and I'm just like almost bumped into her, and I was just like, bruh. And you just like move a bit to the side, so that's something that's pretty annoying sometimes.
See, that's gonna be a nay for me because I'm okay. First of all, I am a zoomer. I will walk around the person with no problem. Like, everybody needs to get the hell out of my way, you know. But like,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
I have
fair.
no problem just walking past people and like not saying a thing to them, just like being rude as hell.
I mean, but think about it this way. It's like two lanes of people going in opposite directions. So even if you do walk around them, maybe there's someone walking that same way too with like a cart or something, and then you're just like, okay, now I have to wait for them to pass too. So you're just like standing there in place, and you're just like, man, this could be so much better
The person on the
if
other line
people would
can
just
wait.
like move a bit.
They can wait for me to go through and then they can come through.
You're just gonna zoom right through there. You're
Oh
gonna find a
yeah.
crack and just zoom through like fish in the ocean.
Oh yeah.
I think that's half slay, half nay for me. The thing with the aisle where they're looking at stuff, and they're just blocking people from walking in the aisle, that's kind of annoying. Especially if they don't notice, like, within a few seconds that they're blocking the aisle. That's, yeah, definitely it annoys me too. But the thing about walking behind someone and they just abruptly stop, that could be due to like any number of reasons, and they might not, be paying attention or like notice that you're behind them. But if it's definitely like a one way, like one aisle is walking or one lane is walking one way and the other lane is walking the other way, yeah, they should know people are behind them, right? That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
obvious. So I guess it just depends on the situation. So I'll just say
Mm-hmm.
like half slay, half nay. Yeah.
That's fair. It takes me back to like when I went to Japan one time, and
Mhm.
they are just so efficient there. They are not gonna stop for nothing.
Oh
If you
really?
stop, yeah, like if you even stop, I'm fear that you're just gonna like end up bumping into like 10 other people behind you because they are just zooming.
Yeah, just
They
like
are
at
efficient.
AX, Jillian,
Yeah.
where it's a lot of foot traffic. You just have to say, "Excuse me, it's coming
Hmm.
through. Sorry, coming through a lot." So
So,
it's not too bad. Yeah.
excuse me, ma'am, your sharp wings might poke my eye. Could you move, please, a little
Excuse me,
bit?
sir. Your gigantic ass is.
Your big dumpy is really clogging up this moving area. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, my last question, my celebrity crush. Well, I've been rewatching some old Marvel movies recently, and I actually rewatched Thor Ragnarok, and my God, Kate Blanchett in there as hell.
Oh my god.
Oh, I just really like Kate Blanchett a lot. Like her
What does she look
her
like again?
appearance and like her voice, her
Blanchett.
performance as hell is like really good. I love the classic femme fatale.
Wait, she's 54? Oh my god. How old was she in Thor Ragnarok?
I gotta do the math. Maybe like late 40s.
Late 40s, yeah. Wow.
See, Kevin,
And
I'm not
she's
the only
really
one that
tall.
likes the
She's
Cougars.
5'8".
Oh.
I can respect a tall woman.
Dang,
I love that
wait. 5'8" is really tall?
I
let's,
mean,
Brandon's
let's
like, yeah.
go.
to me, it is.
Wait, were you a fan of Pepper from Iron Man? That actress?
Oh, what's her name again?
I don't
Gwyneth
remember.
Paltrow?
Yeah.
Not really.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no.
I
It
mean,
just wasn't resonating with me.
she also has that weird, like, what is it, goop thing going on where she sells, like, the coochie scented candle or whatever.
Oh, that's her? I
Mhm.
thought it was someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, that shit, all that kind of just throws you off.
She named her daughter Apple. That's funny.
Yes, she named her daughter Apple.
She has a son named Moses, apparently, too.
Moses and
Oh,
Apple.
wow.
Yeah.
That's completely two different names.
Should have named her son Steve and then her daughter Apple.
Goodness.
My gosh. All right, well, was that a slay or a nay? Yes to Kate Blanchett or
Oh,
no?
Yeah.
yes, because when she was younger and she acted in those other movies. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely a slay.
Awesome. Well, that was fun. I think overall we all did pretty good. Everyone got positive scores. No bad answers this time around, but we'll see what happens in the next segment that we do this.
No one's saying they just
Okay.
like rice, you know?
Oh
Yeah,
my
they just
god.
like rice, just by itself. Not gonna forget that. But that's a really great point too, and I actually want to. That actually segues great into my next point, which is reviewing what sort of we talked about last week with Fallen Notes, our guest who is a VTuber slash PNG tuber. And the conversation that we had was just really fun because she sort of talked a bit about her motivations for streaming, why she chose to go the PNG tuber route versus streaming with her face, and sort of what she hopes to do with her content moving forward. But I kind of want to know from you guys, like, did your perception of like the VTubing space sort of change a bit after having a conversation with her, and like maybe alternatively, what sort of key takeaways did you take from that conversation that we had? We can start with you, Kevin, if you want to go first.
Yeah, sure. I think just because I watched her sometimes, it wasn't that weird, or I didn't really learn anything new. I think she's really down to earth. And again, just like with regular streamers or any content creator, like a YouTuber or anything, it just depends on the person. I'm sure there are
Mm,
really weird VTubers just because they're weird people, and there's really normal VTubers just because they're normal people. So, and Polly Notes kind of lies in the latter. She's seems pretty normal, pretty down to earth, pretty cool, and she was really chill to have on the podcast. So I didn't really learn
mhm,
anything, but it just kind of reaffirmed for me that it just depends on the person, the streamer.
mhm. Yeah, definitely can agree with you there. She was really pleasant to talk to, and I just loved how she was so receptive to just all of our questions, not really holding anything back. And she was also really fun doing the Slay or Nay segment with her and hearing some of her responses. But moving on to you, Brandon, we know that you've had some strong opinions about VTubing. So I really want to know your thoughts about the whole space as a whole after having a conversation with Falling Notes.
I'm kind of with Kevin. It's just there's normal people now. There's definitely some weird people out there using it. Um, that's kind of where I landed after all that. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, you can kind of see it with like the popular streamers doing it, but
Hmm.
um, as far as like, I still don't understand some of the motivation for doing it over just leaving a blank screen and just doing your voice or
Hmm.
just doing the face cam. I'm still not quite too sure why
Hmm.
it's like so important to have a PNG, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, I'm pretty much just like, okay, yeah, there's some normal people doing this. It's not all weirdos, you know.
There are some good apples and bad apples.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I totally get that too. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that my perception of VTubers was like negative before a conversation with her. But I think just talking with her gave me a bit more perspective on, why people would choose to go that route rather than going as their like real self. And it actually made me think about how fun could actually be to sort of embody a different persona as well. So that kind of leads to my question, like if you guys had the opportunity to create like a VTuber for yourselves, like what sort of concept would you go through? Like what sort of like, you know, vibe? Like would you go for like a sort of mascot character? I know some VTubers really like to embody like an animal and like, be like this sort of persona of like a certain animal, or would you just go as like, a more animated version of your regular self?
I feel like I'd be going for like the Danny DeVito style.
Danny DeVito VTuber?
Yeah. Like the troll under the bridge sort of thing. I don't know. Like,
Because go as Shrek or something.
yeah. I don't know. I'd land somewhere in between there.
Hmm.
Like it definitely would not be anything serious. It would just be all like jokes, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely don't want like a persona that I have to like change my personality for if I'm streaming. It's just too much work to do streaming, and you have to like act as well. That's too
Hmm.
much work. So I just want to be myself. But for my avatar or model or whatever, I do I guess just an animated version of myself. Maybe like on my shoulder, I like a cute squirrel with like a kiwi on its head or something.
Aw,
That'd be
that's
cute.
cute.
Yeah, because you know how like Chilean my username is like kiwi squirrel for some stuff. So
Yeah.
that'd be cute.
So you don't want to be Ayaka or Ayato
no,
Kamisato.
no, might get sued. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I think for me, I would probably go the other direction and actually just go all out and try to do some cool concept, because for me, in my idea, it's just like if I'm gonna do VTubing, I want to just go through the whole experience and like go all out and try some really interesting concept. I mean, I've kind of thought about that too sometimes, like, oh, what if I was a VTuber? What would that look like? And sometimes I would think about like, oh, if I was a VTuber, maybe I'd do like a cute like girl with like dog ears on or something, or like maybe just like some completely different like person where it's like, you know an alien or like a vampire or something. Like those sort of concepts I think that are like more out of the box, I think are like super interesting. And I found that I usually am more intrigued by VTubers who, go out of that way to do that sort of different identity. Like there's this one VTuber that I used to follow. Her name is Aoyama Mina. She's like kind of small, like independent VTuber, but she has like this concept where like she's like the queen or something, and she has like a really great model where like she has like a crown, and she has like really sharp like nails, and like she also has like a sort of spider motif weaved in there too. And I just think it's like a really well done concept, and she's a really entertaining person as well. So I usually like to watch her streams every now and then, and I think of her as like inspiration. Like if I would ever be a VTuber, I'd want to be like her. She's doing something right.
You
That's
could
just with her model, right? It's not like her
Hmm.
personality. She doesn't change her personality drastically or anything.
Yeah, no, I think she pretty much has like a natural personality. Like she doesn't try to be some other person and like
Yeah, yeah.
refers to her name as like you must call me like Mina
Queen.
sama
Call me
not overly
only
queen.
dramatic.
queen.
Yeah.
If you don't call me queen, I shall step on you or something.
Oh
Wait,
god.
whoa,
No,
whoa, whoa,
no.
whoa! I'm not calling her queen. I'm not calling her queen. but,
It's great.
but
But
yeah,
yeah.
you can tell who the creative one is. Me and Kevin
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
we're just both gonna be.
Brandon and I are not made to be streamers.
I know, right? Yeah, kudos to all the streamers out there who make it work and really put all their creativity in there, especially Fallen Notes. Definitely gonna have to try and tune into her streams more often. But
Oh,
yeah.
on that note, she did her stream last night for reaching 300 followers on Twitch,
Oh,
and she was
nice.
doing something cool. She was like drawing on a blank white page, like a canvas. Everyone who dropped in to say something in chat or replied to her tweet on Twitter, or sorry, X, whatever it is now. But she drew me because I said hi. I didn't know that she drew me until she tweeted it out after her stream. So I'll show you guys the
Oh,
image
wait,
here.
that's so
Look
cute.
at all the people, and then look at the bottom leftish, and you'll see slAyMA Kevin, really small
Aw,
guy. You see that?
that's cute.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that. Aw. I like the little guys on the left side. Just a
Yeah.
waterfall of
The
little guys.
lurkers. The lurkers.
That's cute. No, I love this. She's a
Yeah,
really
she's
great
awesome.
artist.
Yeah.
Love that. But yeah, that was really great conversation, and I really hope that we can bring her on again as a guest because she was just really awesome to talk to, and would love to have her on the show again soon. But yeah, anyways, moving on to our next topic of the day, talking all about the Barbie movie. You could tell from our thumbnail that, Barbie has been such a huge, cultural phenomenon recently, mainly because of the amount of marketing that's been going into the movie. So pretty much everyone at this point should know about it and has had an opportunity to watch it. But, after watching it, I thought that it was actually really, really good, and I was just like thoroughly entertained throughout the entire movie. So I just wanted to like sit down and like, talk amongst ourselves like how we thought about the movie. Do you think it was really worth, lived up to all the hype that was generated by it? And, what maybe was your favorite like part of the movie? We can start with you, Brandon.
I think it lived up to the hype. See, my thing is like I didn't set the even with all the hype, I didn't set the expectation very high.
Hmm.
Like when I heard Barbie movie, I didn't really expect anything too great. But like, have you both watched the Mario movie?
No.
No,
No.
you haven't. Neither of you have. It's
No.
very not good, and like it's kind of what I expected that movie to be like on how good it is. Like it's just pretty well made, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. It flows really well. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know too much what to say, honestly.
Okay, but what was your favorite moment from the movie, Brandon?
Oh, don't get me started. So there is a scene at the beginning of the movie where before she gets into the shower, they show a close up of her taking off her shoes, and then she
Oh.
becomes flat footed and sticks her foot in the air.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
There's quite a few moments like that where, man, they're just the best. But honestly, to actually say my favorite part was, I mean, Ken just made me realize I'm just like him. all I want is my Mojo Dojo Casa house and some horses. I mean, I would be
And
set.
some horses.
Yeah, that was probably probably my favorite part. Just Ken being so set with those two things.
Hmm. Would you say that you were on the Barbie camp or the Ken camp throughout the movie?
That's that's tough. I'm on the Barbie camp though. It's
Let's
their
go
land.
slay.
It's their land. They have to take it back, right?
That's true. But I think what the movie did really well too was just like balancing and giving equal, sort of power and, investment into both sides, like both the Ken and Barbie movies. Like, um, for movies that have done this sort of thing in the past where it's like trying to push forth more like feminism sort of topics and stuff, sometimes it could become really like aggressive and like really demeaning to like men. But I think for this movie in particular, it was like a bit more like respectful in a way, like more balanced. Like there's some aspects from both sides that are like bad and good, and the movie did a good job just like putting those perspectives to light. So I really liked just seeing that, and I think that's why I really enjoyed the movie a lot as well. How about you, Kevin? Did you have any favorite moments from the movie?
Yeah, I knew that Oppenheimer and Barbie were both hyped up, but I'm not one to like really. I'm not in the movie scene. I don't watch trailers for movies or anything. I didn't know why these two movies were hyped up. I didn't really know anything about Oppenheimer honestly until Sabrina told me. So I was like, oh, that's what that's about. Okay, but going into it, I had no expectations at all. I thought it was going to be a movie about like the toys, right? I had no idea
Hmm.
what it was. I was like, why is it so hyped up? Is it going to be like a movie theater full of girls? I'll just be like the only guy in there, or what's going on? But I think what the movie did really well and why I enjoyed it as much as I did was because I think a movie first and foremost should be entertaining,
Hmm.
and it balanced that lighthearted comedic aspect really well with the serious undertones or
Hmm.
all the serious aspects of it. I think
Hmm.
it did that really well, and it was really enjoyable throughout the movie. There's no boring parts. I think
Hmm.
just throughout the entire movie, I was really I found myself enjoying it a lot. My favorite part, there's two. I think my favorite parts were because they were so surprising and out of the blue. First, it was like when the Kens were having their infighting, and on the beach, and all of a sudden they teleport to that other world or zone or whatever, and Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling start dancing, and everyone starts dancing. I'm like, what is going? How did we get here?
I
And then
know.
like they start showing camaraderie, and they're like on the same team again. I'm like, what happened? And my other favorite part was when they're at the crazy Barbie's house, later in the movie, and the mom started going on her whole like rant about like why women have been kind of oppressed. It's like a patriarchy in the real world, things like that.
Hmm.
What's expected of women? It's like double standards. They're
Hmm.
expected to do one thing, but also another thing. And that was
Hmm.
really surprising because it happened at such a weird time in the movie. And I was like, wow, they're really going off on this like now.
I
I was like,
know.
I
Yeah.
love that though. And it's just like how the movie again balanced like lighthearted comedic aspect
Hmm.
with the serious tones. So it was a really good movie. As for what team I'm on, okay. Another thing I liked about the movie was like people I think on social media are saying it's like anti-men the movie, anti-male or whatever. I don't think that's true. I think
Hmm.
that it's more that saying that men should kind of embrace who they are
Yeah.
without taking into consideration what women think of them. Like
Yeah.
your identity shouldn't be defined by what a woman thinks of you, and
Yeah.
vice versa, right? And women shouldn't define their personality or their identity from what like a man thinks of them.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's anti-male at all. It was just saying like, here's what a patriarchy is like in reverse. How Ken goes to
Yeah.
real world and or he notices like things are different, and he's like, whoa, it's like the opposite in Barbie land. The women control us. It feels awful. And yeah, that's like it does feel awful for women in real life, right? When they're treated that way. So
Hmm.
yeah, I love Barbie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with a lot what you're saying there. Like, I think the movie was just super well executed in terms of balancing these really funny comedic, elements, but also being brave enough to have those really hard-hitting conversations and, being outright and saying words like, feminism and like patriarchy, and just seeing how the characters sort of, react to those sort of situations and how, they react with each other. And I just love how, there was a lot of really great moments where both sides were able to, unite and come to an agreement. Like at the end, there was like a really beautiful moment where, Ken realizes that, hey, I don't need to, get validation from, Barbie, and I can just, be happy on my own, which leads to him wearing a really cute I am Knuff shirt, which is like the sweetest thing. And I swear to God, I was like so cute, and I just felt like my eyes tearing up a bit. I was like, oh, Ken. But yeah, that's kind of one of my favorite moments. But I think another one that I really enjoyed was like near the end when the Barbies have retaken Barbie Land, and then President Barbie walks down the stairs and she's like, "This is Barbie now, bitch." I just thought that was like so funny to me. Like I'm a fan of Issa Rae, so I liked how she had that little fun moment. I also really liked the one moment when Barbie goes to the real world, and so she's trying to like figure out like who's in the real world, like her owner, her previous owner, and like why she's starting to feel so negative and stuff. So she like tracks down like the owner's kid at her school, and she's like so like convinced that this kid is like her actual like owner, like original owner. And so she like walks up to her and she's like, "Oh, like I'm Barbie. Like don't you remember me? Like we had such great memories together." And the kid was just not having it. She's like, "Who are you?" And just starts like bashing
Oh,
on
yeah.
Barbie, pretty much flaming Barbie. And at the end, she's just like, "You're a fascist, Barbie." And then Barbie is
Oh,
like so shell shocked that she runs away in tears. And then it ends with like her being like, "She called me a fascist." Like I just found it so like
It was
amusing to
so funny when
me.
her friend was like, "Give it to her, ruin her life." I was like,
Yeah, right. End her now.
yeah.
It's so great. And yeah, I think like the two leads, Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie, did a really great job. Like their performances were like super well done. I was thoroughly amused throughout the entire thing. And I just love seeing that one moment where they get arrested. We could finally see the meme come together of them in jail, and Ryan Gosling is just like ha with the little like little arrest sign. But yeah, the Barbie movie is so great, and I would not be opposed to seeing a sequel of any kind. But
Ken,
hopefully,
Ken focus.
yeah, yeah, Ken Focus,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That would be so great to see his continuation of his story. But yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us watched Oppenheimer, but would you guys watch it? Like, how do you feel about that movie?
um, I I would watch it. I'm pretty sure it's a long movie though. I
Hmm.
haven't actually looked it up, but I've heard it's a long movie, so I just kind of like can't be bothered to go sit to a movie that
Hmm.
long. But I kind of would want to do it at like IMAX. I think that'd be pretty cool for a movie like that.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, a little bit of a history nerd, so I like know most of the stuff that they're gonna talk about. And, like,
Hmm.
but I don't know. It'll be cool to see it on the screen, and plus, Cillian Murphy's really good, so I'll probably go see it eventually.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
How
think
about you, Kevin?
all of Christopher Nolan's movies are so, I wouldn't say maybe not good, but like insane in a way that they define like generations. I feel, like Inception, like those kind of movies that
Yeah.
everyone during that year and maybe like a year or two after can't stop talking about. And
Hmm.
it's movies like that. I think Oppenheimer is definitely one of them. And I've heard people talk about Oppenheimer and just like the plot and whatnot, and it sounds really interesting actually. And it sounds like a movie that makes you think after it's over. It makes
Hmm.
you feel some sort of way, and you have to try to figure out like why you feel that way after it's over.
Hmm.
So those movies I always try to watch, but I don't like going to theaters to watch movies that often. So maybe I won't get the chance. We'll see. Yeah.
We did it for Barbie, maybe not Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Oppenheimer is
Oppenheimer.
a Disney Plus angle or a Netflix angle.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns the rights to it. Yeah, like I'm kind of in the same boat as Brandon. Like I usually like to watch historical things, like documentaries from time to time are pretty interesting. But one thing that I don't really like about those sometimes is that sometimes they can be a little bit one-sided. Like, you may think like, oh, this is such a great like historical retelling, but then after you do some more research into it, like maybe there are some details from the actual story that were like taken out of it. So I kind of have those sort of, concerns like going into it. But I'd probably have to watch some like reviews first and see if it's actually like truly a one-to-one match with like the historical retelling. But yeah, but I think I watched Barbie already, and I kind of don't want to like go from a high to like a low, like in terms of like vibe. Like I feel like my mood's gonna drop so hard just after watching Oppenheimer. So maybe it's like I'll give it a few months before I watch it.
That's fair. I think that's where I'm at too. Just chill at
Hmm.
home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard you guys watched Anything Everywhere All at
Oh my
Once, and that's a
goodness.
really great movie too. What are your thoughts about that movie? How was it?
It really was everything, everywhere, all at once. That's how it stayed true to the title. Like that entire movie was a sensory overload, but it was good. Like it's hard. It
Right?
was tough to digest. Everything that happened.
Yeah, I don't think it was like movie of the year, but I didn't watch that many movies in 2022, so I can't really say. But it
Hmm.
definitely nonstop action, nonstop, things happening, and you just kind of didn't have time to process anything because, the next scene something would be happening, right? And I don't
Hmm.
even want to think about how they were like shooting some of those shots, the scenes, because it looked ridiculous. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's so like
definitely.
ridiculous and absurd, like the hot dog fingers and whatnot. It's just so absurd. The raccoon on the head. It's just like, how did they think of this and like how did they get here? But uh,
Rakakuni.
Rakakuni, yeah. But I was telling Sabrina what I really liked about it was, um, let's not even talk about the race first of all. But it was just like it kind of made me step outside of like me watching the movie and think like about what really matters in life.
Yeah.
And she's like worried about taxes. She's worried about her job. Her life is miserable. But it really makes you think about like what's really important in life, the people who are important to you in life. Like, the things that you're stressing and worried over, do they really matter in the end? And the second
Hmm.
thing, which I think is like the central theme of the movie, is even though maybe you could have been a lot of things in life if had you made different choices when you're younger or like earlier in your life, none of those things are important anymore. The other worlds that she could have gone to, but none of those things are important because her world is the one where her husband's about to divorce her. Um, her world is the one that she should care about, right? So her like nonstop thinking about how like her life sucks and it's ruined, or like her husband is going to divorce her and things like that. She kind of realizes in the end, I think, that what's important is not living in every other world. It's just her world that she needs to live in, and she needs to fix things or like resolve things with her daughter and her husband in that world. So
Hmm.
See,
that's what I.
that movie got way more through to Kevin than it did to me. I was like, that dude turned to confetti.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
slay analysis.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, no, but that's definitely why I really enjoyed that movie too. Just the message that was really portrayed throughout the entire thing. Like just this one woman who sort of experiencing this existential crisis and like she wants to she would want to like go into these other worlds and kind of run away from the present, but by the end she has to like accept the present for what it is and sort of make do and make right by like her actual family and like make an effort to fix things and really get the life that she wants. So I thought that that whole through line juxtaposed by all of these alternate realities and like fighting kung fu like I was thoroughly entertained, and Michelle Yeoh, she got that Best Actress award for a reason. She did a really
yeah,
great job.
she did a really good
And
job.
her husband was a really good actor too,
Hmm.
the supporting actor. Brandon, what was your favorite scene? Because I have one specific scene in mind.
Dude, I don't even know. I couldn't digest that movie enough to pick one, man. There's too much going on that entire movie.
Yeah,
Detective
my
is
favorite scene
insane.
was just the scene in passing. It wasn't like a serious scene, like a really pivotal scene or anything. It was just was it's like she's fighting in the hot dog finger land with her wife, who's like the tax lady in that world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're fighting, and or maybe they're like making love. I don't know, but they stick their hot dog fingers in each other's mouths, and you see
Oh
the
my
ketchup and mustard
god,
on their
bro! That
mouths,
no,
and
that scene.
that
I
implies that they orgasmed or whatever. It's just kind of
yeah.
it's so funny. It's just so funny to me.
I was cringing at that. I was like, oh my god, dude, there's
I was
no way
laughing
they
so
just
hard.
did
Yeah,
that.
funny you
The movie,
mentioned that. That's also my favorite scene.
the
So
movie is so absurd. I love
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, like those sorts of movies that are kind of uncharacteristic from the more mainstream ones and AAA studios. Like I think those ones are like the most precious ones because they just make you think, right? And just
Mhm.
they just stick to you the most because they're a lot more absurd. So kudos to the directors for working on that. I think they have like a really small budget for that. I mean, they're not like a really big studio or anything. They're like a
Wait,
small indie
really?
team. I think
Wow.
so.
You would not
Uh,
think that that was a small budget movie.
I know, right? They did a great job.
Yeah.
But yeah, this segues into my next question. With the revival of Barbie, Barbie is a really timeless sort of, franchise, and her making a big splash, in 2023, it sort of made me think about, if other older sort of, franchises across like movies or like TV shows or anime, like if any other show were to come back in the modern day, like what would you guys want to see make a comeback?
Hajime no Ippo. We haven't gotten anything since 2006, and I think it's
Okay, Brandon, you're gonna
2006.
have to give me some insider knowledge about Hajime no Ippo. Like, what's the big scoop on this franchise?
Um, I just like boxing, and I don't know the like. Honestly, though, the original show, the art style, like for the anime, was really cool. Um, I like prefer the style and the original anime to like the movies and the second and third show. It's more like gritty and like rough, like the older style, and so it just makes it feel like really cool. I don't know the entire
Mm,
time, but I just like the character Ippo a lot too because he kind of like he's not like a natural talent or anything. He just puts his head down and works, and he like never talks shit about anybody. He just like he doesn't care if the person he's fighting is like way better than him or not. He just puts his head down and works as hard as he can to like try to beat them for the specific fight. And I
mm.
don't know. I kind of like take that into me as like motivation. And, I can't look too much at what's ahead. Just kind of put my head down and work.
You're just like, damn, he liked me for real, for real.
Yeah,
I'm Ippo.
but that's a
Well, that's
really
cool.
basic version of it. You know.
No, I love that. And I do know that you have a tattoo of Hajime no
Oh yeah.
Ippo, so it means a lot to you. So that's really cute. I love that for you. For me, I can think about a few. One that comes to mind, at least for anime, is this one like children's anime called Chara. It's like this really cute like shoujo anime of like this girl like middle school. She has like magical girl powers. It's like a magical girl anime, and but people transform by like these cute little mascots that like come out of like eggs, which I guess is like part of their soul. I'd have to like double check what the whole like mechanics of that is, but uh that sort of show made such a big impression on me as a kid, only because it was so unique compared to other magical transformation animes, and I just loved like following the main character's journey, and like she was like this really like aloof girl, didn't really want to like talk to people, but throughout the series she like encounters new people, makes friends, and like through her connections with her like little mascot friends, she really grows and like becomes like a much better person. So I just really like enjoyed like her character development a lot, so would love to see Shugo Chara make a comeback. But in terms of other shows, I really miss Danny Phantom. I don't know if y'all ever watched that show, but like Danny Phantom, like that shit was so good. I really like it's just so unique. Like Danny Phantom, like this young kid who like gets ghost powers and has to fight ghosts all the time. He looks so cool with like his white hair and stuff. Like he was like my like favorite like superhero as a kid. So we'd love to see that come back too. How about you, Kevin? Anything come to mind in terms of things you'd like to see come back?
Uh, the one I was gonna say for anime actually did come back this month, which is funny. It's Rurouni Kenshin. You guys ever hear of Rurouni Kenshin?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's getting its readapted again this month, starting July 4th. So it's 4 episodes out now. I think you guys should go give it a watch. The last time it was animated, the first time it was adapted was 1996 or some shit. So
Oh
it's been
wow.
a while, but it was insane. It's about the samurai era in Japan, and there's this kid who grows up, and he has a master of swordsmanship. They have swordsmanship styles, and his style with his master is called like Hiten Mitsurugi, and it's like
Mm.
it was made to kill, but then his master like became a good person, so he trained the main character to be a good person, and he said you shouldn't use this to kill, only to protect people, right? So when you first get introduced to him, this is after he becomes a good person. So he uses like his skills for good. he uses like it's weird. It's like a reverse blade, so he can't kill people. He can't like stab people. He can only like knock
Oh
them out.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but before like his past, he was like known as like the manslayer, like Batosai the manslayer, because in the war he would just slaughter a bunch of people. Like he killed like billions of people. But it follows the story of like how he became like a good person. He struggles with like not killing people, even though there are bad people that should be killed. But yeah, it's a really good anime, but it's getting adapted again, so I gotta rewatch it.
Alright, you said Danny Phantom. What about the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
Oh, you're
Oh
so
my God,
right.
so
Oh my
old.
god, I would love to have that come back. Also, like Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh my god,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Also
that
so
one.
good.
That was good.
I still think about the one movie where they all like get turned to like old people zombies, and then like the whole plot twist or like the children that are like the father's children are actually like the original Codenames operatives, but they got like brainwashed and stuff.
What is that a movie? What is that?
Yeah, it was like a movie.
I never watched that.
Let me see this. Kids Next Door movie. TLDR, basically like Nigel Uno's dad. Like Nigel Uno TLDR, like Nigel Uno's dad actually used to be like a Codenames Kids Next Door like operative and stuff. I think he was also like one of the founding members, and like his dad was like an evil ass dude, and so they kind of just like rebelled against him and like ended up sort of incapacitating him so that he was like sort of docile and stuff. But in the movie, like the evil dad like has like an awakening and like turns back into like his old evil self, and so he like has like this plot to like turn all the kids in the world into like evil old people. So like eventually like a bunch of like the operatives ends up turning like old and like evil, which includes people from number one's like group. Like he's basically the only one left who's like still a young kid who's trying to like save all his friends. And then throughout that movie too, like he ends up working with father's children, the quintuplet, and then it turns out that they were actually team operatives too, like the original like squad, but they ended up getting like brainwashed to become father's children. But they helped number one throughout the movie, but it was really sad at the end because of the reverse brainwashing was like wearing off, so they were starting to revert back to the children. But it was like so cool, and I really liked seeing like Nigel's dad become a more like established character, because he also has an awakening too and helps his son like defeat the evil dad, and they had like a really like cool moments together. But that whole series was just really great.
Cool. Yeah, I love that series. I never watched the movie though.
I know the movie was like, I don't even know what the movie's called. I have to look into it, but it was just a very interesting plot line for sure. Like I would not want to just become an evil old person.
Wait, you don't want
No,
to become
thank
an evil
you.
old person? That was my plan.
What would you do as an evil old person, Brandon? Would you like
That's a secret.
would you just like throw candy at kids during Halloween? Would you give them like rocks instead of candies, or completely destroy their happiness?
I don't know. They might be
Wait.
happy to get rocks.
If I were evil,
Yeah, if you were an evil person or like evil old person in Codenames Kid Next Door movie, what would be your first act of debauchery?
oh, you remember how like numbers 3 and 4 had a number 3 and 4 were dating or had a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, she's cheating on you with number. I saw them kissing.
I saw her cheating with number 2.
Oh my god.
Number 4 would flatten number 2 real quick. No, not gonna lie.
Facts.
Oh my gosh. Like number 3 and number 5, I like were one of my like cartoon crushes. I thought number 3 was cute. I thought number 5 was like really cool. I was like,
I
oh
like the
God.
Asian one with long hair.
That's number 3. That's number 3.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh, she's cute. And then number 5 is just like really cool. Oh my god, that reminds me, like Kim Possible. I would love to see that come back.
Oh, she go.
Yeah, she go.
Oh, she go.
Yeah, she go. She slay go. I know, goddamn. I feel like the prime of like cartoons, like really during that era, like everything
Hmm.
else that's come out recently, I feel like there's not really a lot of like good ones, except for like a few. Like I don't know if you've heard of like the Owl House. That one is like super good, and they actually have like a really really big fan base. If you go on Reddit, I think they have like a couple 100,000 like active members, and I just think that shows like what makes it really special is that it kind of has some horror elements to it, but like a sort of a PG-13 way. So it has some sort of intrigue to it, and like the whole mystery about like the setting is like also really cool. But also like the attachment and the relationships between the characters is also like really sweet, really sweet. Highly recommended if you can have a chance to watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of that. I don't
Yeah.
keep up with that as much anymore.
But do you guys watch like adult cartoons like BoJack Horseman and Rick and Morty and stuff like that?
Rick and
I've
Morty.
tried watching
No.
Rick and Morty. It's not my cup of tea, but
Yeah.
BoJack Horseman, yeah, that one's pretty fun. I liked I mean, in the past I used to watch like Family Guy and like Futurama when those were like airing back then. Um but not so much anymore.
Yeah, no. I've always wanted. I keep wanting to watch what's it called, Incredibles or something. That one
The
seems.
movie?
No,
Yeah, the
not.
movie?
There's a show called
Oh, you mean
Incredibles.
Invincible?
Invincible.
What the hell's that?
The one
I
with
couldn't
like
think of
Omni
the.
Man? It's like you gotta think. You gotta think, you know.
I
Okay, never mind.
Oh,
It's
Steven Yeun is the voice actor in that, apparently.
Yeah, that one. It seems pretty good, but other than that, no. I forgot The Incredibles was a movie for a second.
The Incredibles. No, I like The Incredibles too. Incredibles is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the. Did you watch both versions? You watched like the first one and the second one?
I didn't watch
Hmm.
the second one.
I think I like the first one
Yeah, me too.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the segments with Frost guy and his wife. That's
Oh,
always
yeah.
gonna be iconic. Where's my super suit? But yeah, we're kind of reaching, the hour mark here, but I want to just check in and see if you guys had any other like thoughts, like anything else you wanted to talk about before we possibly end it for tonight.
That's a lot
I
of
mean,
pressure.
sorry, I have like Reddit open on my left side of the monitor, and someone just leaked the new Valorant song that's getting released tomorrow, so I'm excited to listen to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Valorant's
know the
getting a
Valorant.
song.
Yeah, Valorant's having a new song with like Grabbits, I think his name
Yeah,
is.
every like like the equivalent of League of Legends World Championships, the Valorant World Championships, they have a song
Wait,
every
I've
year.
never even heard them. What?
Oh, I think the best Valorant one that's not this one that came out. Well, I haven't listened to it yet, but it's Die for You. It's called Die for You,
Oh, yeah. Huh.
and yeah, this new one that's coming out tomorrow is called Ticking Away. It just got leaked today, so
I'll have to give it a listen later.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like I just love how much effort the Valorant team is putting in with all of like the hype videos, and, like the music videos and animations. Like they're really, I think they're doing such an excellent job trying to strike this whole vibe and theme of Valorant being something hip and disruptive and like modern and like something relatable for a lot of young people. So I'm excited to see what else they're gonna do for the rest of the year. Hopefully more like ways to amplify different players across the regions, or more videos about the actual agents. Like I know there's like not a lot of Valorant lore, but you kind of get little bits and pieces through like voice lines and stuff, and I'm really curious to learn more about like the relationships between like Sage, like Viper and Omen and Reyna. Like give it to me, please. Or we can just have like a vacation segment of like Raze and like Killjoy in like Mexico or something. I don't know. I don't know, Brazil or something.
Yeah, just to be like explicit, I feel bad for League of Legends and Overwatch because these dog shit games and their dog shit
Oh,
esports scenes walked so Valorant could run for sure.
Literally,
Yeah.
literally. Well, I hope that Riot can continue to keep the Valorant esports momentum alive and not make any major missteps and stuff. Like, I already saw some like conversations about the tier 2 scene and how it doesn't seem
Mm-hmm.
very sustainable at the moment, and like Riot's head of esports for Valorant had to like respond on Twitter. But I really hope that they're able to like really put in a lot of support for the tier 2 as well, because I think a bulk of like the Valorant competitive scene is actually there. All
Mm-hmm.
these orgs that are trying to compete and like qualify for the highest like champions league. So really hope that they put more like infrastructure and like more opportunities for the players to actually compete, because having a really long like off season like that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like how are they supposed to fill the time? Like how are they supposed to get paid for to compete if there's nothing to like, participate in? I don't know. I
Yeah, I think they
I think
realize that, and they're
yeah.
fixing it or trying to fix it
Hmm.
next year. So there's that.
Well,
Are you really invested in Valorant esports, Brandon?
not so much the esports. No, I'm still into the League of Legends esports.
Oh yeah, Brandon,
But
how
I
do you
don't.
feel about League of Legends esports right now? What's your
Um,
investment in the league?
it's kind of faded because they kind of don't care over here like that much. They honestly don't. Like all the teams are trying to pull out of LCS. Like TSM's supposedly out after this year, which like if you
Yeah.
ask anybody which team they know in the LCS, it's probably TSM if they like know anything about League.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just gonna be a huge blow. So I don't know, but I'll still watch Worlds. I'll still find it entertaining. But
Yeah,
RIP the LCS.
I know. It just sucks how Riot made the schedule this way. Like I have not watched a single live LCS match since the season started because it's during the weekday.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to just stop what I'm doing at work and just like start
Oh,
watching
LCS
League
is
with like
on.
30K viewers. It's like not good.
Yeah, you could tell they put League on the back burner for Valorant for sure.
Hmm.
At least here. And in Asia, it's still number
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah. But China just got Valorant, so you can expect it to have a boom in the next year or so.
Oh,
Oh, I think she's talking to someone.
well, since Jillian isn't here to end it, I think that leaves me and you, Kevin.
Sorry about that.
Oh
I
no
Oh,
had
worries.
never
to
mind. She is
address
here.
something really quickly,
It's okay.
but
We're wrapping up anyway, so.
mhm. But yeah, really do agree with all the esports
Whew,
points. As an
got
esports fan
nervous.
myself, I just really hope for like the best for like all like these different like esports like leagues. Like I hope that there's just some light at the end of the tunnel. Like there's ways for this to become more sustainable, to really provide more opportunities to like watch these matches and like have more competitive like circuits and stuff to like really, generate more hype. Because I think like the highest levels of like play are one of the most entertaining like gaming and like entertainment events. So I just hope that these companies are able to figure out something soon. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up all of our topics for today. And so really appreciate everyone who's, sat down to watch this week's episode. It's the first time we're doing a more recorded format versus live streaming. So let us know what you think about that. And, we'll continue to push this sort of schedule forward. But yeah, you can follow us on social media at slay podcast across Twitter and Instagram or our YouTube channel, and we'll be sure to come back next week with another episode. So be sure to check that out. But yeah, that's it from us here at slay Podcast. And as always, we hope you all have a very pleasant slay day.
slAyMA.
Slay man.
slay man.